Hello, I'm Chylli from Channel Chylli, also known as Try, and we are back, and this time we're going to be starting a playthrough of Fear and Hunger. So I do have the game modded a little. I have a censorship mod on right now, and I also have Reign of the New Gods on, which adds a couple things. Now the mods I have on right now are really big. I did make my own mod, it just gives me I didn't make my own mod, it just gives me a saving book at the start of the game. It also makes the saving book reusable, so I can use it as many times as I need. Just to make recording easier, since I can end the video and reload whenever. You know what, actually, maybe I should make it so it doesn't show my mouse on the screen. There we go, now it no longer shows my mouse. We're just gonna play through on the easiest difficulty first. You are born with the soul of the endless that makes you yearn for freedom and forces you to push your creativity to its limits. Oh, Dad, I'm back now. You put your creativity to the test in the most harshest of environments. You were born and soon abandoned in the capital of the Eastern Sanctuaries, Jataya. You had to choose at a very young age to either become a pickpocket, a burglar, or try to struggle and lead an honest life. Your life spent learning thievery, it certainly didn't go to waste. You learned to live with constant fear and danger over the years. The crude streets of Jataya teach you valuable lessons. As you grew older, you took part in various mercenary armies and learned the dirtiest tricks to stay alive. You were taken in by a notorious veteran highwayman, and you joined his little band of criminals and ex-soldiers. During one of your many raids, your brigade got ambushed. The odds were severely against you. You could have abandoned your allies and kept your life, or you could have fought till your last breath. You traveled across the land in your raids and eventually settled down in the kingdom of Rondon, where silver was least as long as you were up for getting your knife dirty. One day you got an ominous pass from the officials of the kingdom. You are to be paid well in silver if you get a captain of a fabled mercenary army out of the dungeons of Rondon itself. From the dungeons of Fear and Hunger, the morbid place has been used as a wartime prison by the kingdom. And for some reason, they need an outsider sword like yourself to infiltrate their very own stronghold. Something is clearly not right about this mission, and you have felt nauseous since the moment you agreed to the job. But you are short on silver, and the reward is all that matters in the end. You spent your last night in the kingdom. This really is your make-or-break mission. There's a person back in the city relying on you to return with riches. You have heard rumors about this place, and you are sure that there are great treasures hidden somewhere in these ruins. So even if the mission was to go south for some reason, you're not going to return empty-handed. Okay, so I'm actually going to... I'm going to run down all 4 of the characters beginning. Like the backstory of each character to get a gist of the world here. I have already played the game, but I'm really interested in the game's lore, and I feel like it would be good to get refreshed on it, so... You were born with the soul of domination that makes people around you bend to your will. You're a natural leader, but you might often end up blind to self-criticism. If your birth sign wasn't enough to warrant a future greatness, you were also born into a wealthy, noble family. At an early age, you were sent into training to become a holy knight of the kingdom Rundan. Training to become a squire was a harsh school that spared no one, no matter if you are from a noble origin or not. A practice sparring match between you and a well-seasoned squire took place at the central training ground. It is said that a fighter shows their true colors in their first fight. This applied to you too. When you first saw the sword coming your way, you... As time went on, you proved out to be a gifted fighter and a valuable asset to the kingdom. However, the kingdom of Rundan claimed to follow the will of the gods in its pursuit for more power, but all the rewards seemed to fall under the laps of the elite and the noble, sitting comfortably behind the castle walls. Ruthlessly, the kingdom would expand its reign, reducing the feeble citadels to ashes and bloodstains, enslaving the poor women folk whilst every man is slain, only spare a child or two, that its legend may grow. Your devotion was shaken. You were all but ready to retire from the army, but your family insisted. No, they demanded that you stay as a holy knight, or else it will bring great shame to their noble family. You swallowed your grief and doubt and decided to stay as a holy knight. In the end, you could try to fix things up from the inside, you figured. Just as things seemed too dark, you saw light in the darkness. You met a captain of a small mercenary army who seemed to share the same ill will toward the kingdom of Rundan as you did. The common folk were starting to gather around the charismatic leader, Lagarde, who shared humble origins, similar to farmers and villagers alike. There was definitely something otherworldly about his stature. Lagarde saw potential in you, and with warm words, he almost seduced you to join his band of mercenaries. Thanks to your rigorous discipline, you took a high position in his army, the Knights of the Midnight Sun. Your army was growing fast in both size and influence to the western regions. The Kingdom of Rundown would first use your service to their own benefit, but soon saw you more as a possible threat to their modern reigns. Something changed with Lagarde as well. He kept more to himself and studied ancient texts in a cult. He became obsessed with some relics and artifacts that gave you ominous feelings and terrible nightmares. Things would only spiral toward madness even more when Lagarde decided to raid the northern capital, Oldegard. Without warning or negotiations, Lagarde killed everyone who stood in his way between him and this mysterious ancient artifact. It was a small overblow that was enough of an excuse for the Kingdom of Rundown to turn common folk against Lagarde and justify his imprisonment. As the troops of the Rundown army marched toward your clearly smaller army, you had to choose which position to take in the coming encounter. The Knights of the Midnight Sun lost the fight. Many of your comrades were slain, but you managed to escape the battlefield. Lagarde was taken as a captive and to be used most likely as propaganda. You knew you didn't have much time before he would be sentenced to death, so you had to act fast. Even if it seemed like a suicide mission, you decided to save Lagarde from the prisons he was kept in. Before leaving for your desperate journey, you decided to stock up on equipment and items. The dungeons open before you. You won't leave the ruins without Lagarde. One way or another, you two will be reunited, even if it requires you to give up on your own principles. Alright, we have 2 more now. You were born with the soul of the enlightened. You were always seeking help restlessly for new knowledge and secrets hidden from the common folk. This trait started to show itself at a very young age as you were chosen to become a dark priest upon the birth of you and your twin sister. Technical to such occult rites, you were pitted against your sibling with ritual daggers and challenged to fight each other to the very last breath. Unfortunate for you, you were born with a fragile body and your sister easily overpowered you and had her dagger on your neck, waiting for the final blow. She, however, showed mercy and withdrew her dagger. She stepped away from you. As your high priest masters glared gleefully at the event unfolding before their very eyes. You struck your dagger to the spine of your sister and she collapsed to the ground. The high priest seemed especially pleased with this and prepared for you for your ascension ceremony. In the ascension ceremony, you were to resurrect your deceased sister with necromancy and use her as a ghoul. You did this, and the cold corpse of your sister brought a smile to your otherwise emotionless face. After your ascension to dark priesthood, you were to leave the temple grounds and learn occult on your own in your dark pilgrimage. While beginning your self-studies, you first had to choose the god you dedicate your time to. So yeah, these are the 4 gods in this game. Grigora, Sylvian, Almer, and the god of the depths. We'll learn more about them later in books and stuff. You traveled across the western continent learning about different gods, deity, blood magic, and all known sciences. Your studies didn't come without their merits. You were acknowledged by the top scholars of the modern times. You were finally granted a pass to the great libraries of the Kingdom of Rundan. You now have the collection of all known history and science at your grasp. You learned of a certain man who was prophesied to begin a new era for mankind, a man meant for greatness. But why would you need to share the spotlight of the gods with any mortal man? Prophecies are only for those who are weak enough to bend to their sorry fates. You need to find this man and learn more. To your current knowledge, he would be found imprisoned at the notorious dungeons of fear and hunger. You decide to stock up before your travels. This is it, your stairway to enlightenment. You are set to discover the ancient secrets of stronghold keeps and to reach the ultimate understanding of the greater scheme of things. Okay, give me a minute here, I actually need to check something. Alright, I just had to see how long I was recording before I made my first cut. You were born with the soul of the tormented. You're destined to struggle in every step you take in life. Ultimately, this makes you stronger physically and tempers your iron will that rivals the will of the gods themselves. You had a balanced childhood in the city of Odegaard. With both of your parents always present, your father taught you in the art of war. Your very first step was to choose your weapon. Winters grew colder and summers shorter, which resulted in a great hunger in the north. The fine men of Odegaard set sails to the unknown west in a desperate attempt to find food and riches to feed the people. You had grown into your manhood and boarded the ship. After months of sailing, the sea saw no end and the crew was struggling. Some laid weak under the deck, while some embraced the cold dark sea. As the weak met their feet, the rest indulged in the greatest sin. As if the trip wasn't gloomy enough, when you finally found land, it was something no one in the civilized world could have ever imagined. From the far reaches of the world, you found the dark continent of Vinland. The continent had never been touched by a civilized man. The land was tainted by ancient deities and gods you had never even heard of. The things you witnessed there left a mark in you that could never be washed away. Some of your comrades lost their minds while others tried to pillage anything worthwhile before leaving the macabre place. An ancient artifact was brought from the Dark Continent. You knew it was a mistake, but the choice wasn't in your hands. You knew something bad would follow sooner or later. The bad omens would soon reveal themselves at some time after you returned during one of your many hunting trips. You came back to your village only to witness your worst fear come to life. A mercenary army had raided your village. You witnessed your home village burning, your family slain, and the artifacts stolen. Those who survived the raid described the army and its captain. He was a famous captain from the fabled mercenary army, Knights of the Midnight Sun. You immediately packed and left after him. The man would witness the Iron Will tempered both in the freezing north and the dark continent of inland. You learned that the man had since been taken into the dungeons of the Kingdom of Rundan. Into the notorious dungeons of fear and hunger. You say your mind, you will kill everything that carries the dark soul in the dungeons. You will have your revenge, and the dark artifact will be yours again. There is no other way. And there we go, that's all 4 of them. There we go, I got a Book of Enlightenment, and so I made this reusable. It can be used infinite times. The book radiates light in every color of the spectrum. You feel like your journey has just begun. As if your existence before this very moment has been like watching someone else entirely. You feel a perspective shift in your surroundings, as if everything were to shrink, or perhaps you were to ascend higher. You gain a better understanding of yourself. The link between your mind and your body has started its deterioration. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, I retained that item, but we are going to reload because I don't want those dogs to get me. I forgot the torch high key. So right now we kind of really want to avoid any combat because we are really weak. There's a body on the ground, seems like a sacrificial gift for the older gods. The ancient ritual circle is carved and drawn here. It seems to be a symbol of an older, more obscure god. Alright, let's optimize our equipment now. You hear voices inside your head. Come and find me. Let the blood flow. The lock is too sturdy for your lockpicking skills. So as you can see here, we have hunger, body, and mind. We don't really have to worry too much about mind right now. I believe mind only really becomes a problem once. There's a tombstone here. Here lies Chylli, 1564 to 1590. So yeah, the current year is 1590. I forgot his left arm could do that, otherwise I would have cut that off first. I am what your kind would call a witch. I've sold my soul to the blood arts long ago. I channel Grogoroth. It is what remains of him. That is what people traditionally call blood arts. Of course, that is simplifying the art to a toddler. You are in my domain now. Okay, so we are really badly hurt right now. The reaction, the Black Witch doesn't seem to have much meat on its bones. God damn, I missed a lot of items. I didn't realize I could search the size of that. Not worth running all the way back to double check, though. a pile of dead bodies in various states of rot. Here lies Yuho of the Northern Woods. Although he only briefly served in the dungeon, he is severely missed. 1562 to 1590. A nameless grave sits here. The dirt seems somewhat fresh, suggesting it's not that old. Here lies Sarsonia. Her believed brave strength beat every man in an arm wrestling match. 1564 to 1590. Here lies Jonah. This one desperately sought death. Well, hope she's glad now that she's found it. 1564 to 1590. The cross is missing any text, but for some reason the hole has already been dug here. The bit is almost like waiting for someone. Here lies Sir Jacob, the great storyteller who made everything just that much more lively. 1560 to 1590. Here lies Sir Anders, 1557 to 1590. Someone has engraved something on my tombstone. Hope I get to taste your creations once we meet each other again, dear friend. Here lies Wayrana the Corso. The mage no one asked for, but the mage we deserved and got. 1563 to 1590. Seems like everyone died in 1590. A statue of a maiden and a crow watching over anyone who rests here. There are remains of a bizarre creature left here. The blood is still wet. Hold it, just hold it right there. You are sane, I gather, even if I may seem winded and wounded, I can still pack a deadly blow or two, so don't get any idea. I am Sir Seymour, a knight from the grand kingdom of Rundan. I served my country to the last breath, just know that. What is it? I delved down here together with my comrades. We have a mission to fulfill. The fate would, however, have it so where each of us got lost. I fear for the worst. Now my priority is to regroup with the Crown Prince, Prince Ludwig Buckman. And with the rest of my party as well, if possible. It is a mystery. I have no idea how things are in this shape. The dungeons are beyond unholy at this point. This place is used as prisons by the Kingdom of Rundan. Everyone knows these dungeons around these parts. They're pretty notorious, in fact. All kinds of rumors are exchanged in the darkness of the night. The rumors speak of unimaginable horrors. Who knew they were not just pesky rumors? You noticed it? Yes, I got hurt by that bastard over there. Caught me off guard. The thing splurts out acid. Watch out if you ever run into one of them. That's a big boy. This room feels somewhat safe as a place can feel in these dungeons, that is. You feel a bit rested even though you had troubled dreams. It felt like someone was watching you while you slept. This room doesn't feel safe anymore. I'm going to reload in a second, but I want to try cutting down one of these things down here and talking to it. As Maneva floats around mysteriously, you feel as if your question is being answered inside your head. Maneva's origins come from deeper depths. You see visions of ruins clouded in green hue. The Maneva seems to suggest that he needs to absorb your life force. It's nothing personal. Yeah, it's not really worth killing these guys right now. We're gonna reload. Okay, so he does not talk to me, that's good to know. Yeah, no way we're getting through that now. God damn, I forgot how much I hated cave gnomes. I am not, or am I? The prisoner slurs something in uncertainty. The prisoner seems to be a dead man standing, brought to life by some wicked magic. It seems like there's only a fragile belief in life keeping the ghoul on its feet. You might be able to take the belief fairly easily. What? The spell that kept the prisoner standing seems to fade. A simple crude doll depicting a long-haired man is laying on the ground. The doll gives you chills and an eerie vibe give me health from it. You take the peculiar doll. There's something shining here. You found a lucky coin. I think we are going to end up dying from infection right now. I know I am playing terribly, but you're not sure if he can understand you or not. You know, I kind of forgot he even said that. That's actually really funny. Oh, the green herb cured both of them. Miscellaneous torturing items. You cannot comprehend the function of most of them. Someone or something is walking toward this room. A wretched-looking person walks out of the shadows. You attack him straight away. Who in the lowest hell are you? You can still surrender and be a good child. I need new test subjects. I'm a doctor, you see. You shall see the new world of pain and suffering. The limits of human flesh. I'll let this knife ruin that silky skin of yours. Okay, found a key on him. There's something waiting for you on the other side of the bars. That's my old buddy, Crow Mauler. No, wait, you're a sane one, right? Yeah, of course, I'd be dead otherwise now. Don't stay in the doorway, it'll give us out if someone sees you. My name doesn't matter in this very moment. I've been lost in these dungeons where it feels like a lifetime. My sense of time has become blurry. It might be years, months, or I fear even just weeks. I just cannot handle it any longer. I feel my mind giving up already. I just can't. I don't know what business you got here, but if I were you, I'd run out as fast as possible. If escaping the place is even possible anymore, that is. You managed to get rid of that wretched torturer. Absolutely magnificent, but the dangers of this dungeon don't end here. Ah, well, it's complicated. Let us trade words later in a more secure environment. Ah, you're heading toward the darkness. I apologize, but not this time. I will catch my breath here for a while. God damn, I'm really bad at running away in these games. I'm pretty sure they died from one headshot. Well, I got absolutely brutalized there. Okay, he does not die from a single headshot because he still gets a round of attacks on me. I could really use some healing here. I know the red herbs can heal me, but I'd like to save them for when I learn how to make the blue potions. There seems to be someone inside the Iron Maiden. I'm hungry, bring us food, human. Humans, of course, bring us sacrifices. You grab one of his heads and rip it off with the bruised strings. If you don't stop, we're gonna wreck you up badly. Hey, seriously, man. Boy, you gotta fucking stop. Can you see us suffering? You want us to beg or something? What the fuck do you think you're doing? If you don't stop, we're gonna wreck you up badly. Okay, yeah, it's just repeating now. The remains of human Hydra remain here. They will create an idol out of our fears. I am but a wretched being on a holy pilgrimage. All the priests of the Western world dream of delving down these dungeons. Okay, yeah, I'm mega dead now. Wanna try saving again before we go and talk to those cultists again? Yeah, we don't need to refight the human Hydra, we already fought him. We serve all the gods, despite the common folk blaming the dark times on the older gods. We also value their teachings. Gregoroth, Sylvian, Ralmer, the Ascended One, the original destroyers and creators. Gregoroth, he who was followed by death and destruction. The goddess, she is the opposite of Gregoroth and brings forth new life and love. Do not disturb my chanting. You are ruining the summoning. He who died for our sins, he who binds us all together. Roughly 800 years ago, mankind decided to take the reins into their own hands. We had suffered long enough because of the neglect of the older gods. New gods will bring us closer to the paradise. The dungeons of fear and hunger are a nexus for different planes of existence. These dungeons are one of the last places where a man can still meet his creator. Gotta ruin his summoning before we try to kill him again. Goddamn, our accuracy is really low. Okay, we are going to save again because we are running out of time now. And there we go, that's where we're gonna leave it off for this episode of Fear and Hunger. I'm taking it a little bit slow because I'm radioing through the game. Right now I'm really just going for the experience right now rather than going for a proper ending. I am anticipating going through and exploring the whole dungeon first, and then we will replay to try to get the other endings. Because we are definitely getting the ending at this rate, but yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it off. So, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time when we continue with more Fear and Hunger. Until then, bye!